Hi, it's Chris Larson with CrossbowExpert.com. I've got the new for 2017 Renegade Xlt crossbow. Now this is a great crossbow. You're going to get the AccuDraw on this crossbow, shooting about 340 feet per second with the Pro light arrows. It'll be around 320, 325 with the Pro Elites. But this crossbow, keep in mind there's two different versions out there. There's the Renegade and the Renegade Xlt. Now we carry the Xlt model, and as you can see, very narrow crossbow. This one's about 3-4 inches more narrow than the regular Renegade, so when you're shopping, make sure you find that Renegade Xlt. We've got them at CrossbowExpert.com. But what I want to show you is something that we get this phone call, seems like about every October, and you get a couple of them. What happens is the guy gets out there, starts hunting, sees a deer, goes to pull the trigger, and nothing happens. And the reason for that is the string is actually not in the trigger. It's sitting on the anti-dry fire mechanism. As you can see, that string, this is the trigger right here, and the string is actually up here. And how that typically happens is a lot of guys that are out there and they're crossbow hunting, they start off in the rifle hunting world, and we're always taught as rifle hunters, once we take the shot, to click it into safety. It's a good thing for guns. Now with crossbows, once we take the shot and the string is down here, there's no danger anymore. Once that string is down here, nothing can happen. So we want to leave the crossbow in fire. So if you cock this crossbow in safety, that string will not sit up in that trigger mechanism. Basically what will happen is it'll hit the trigger mechanism and it'll come back and it'll rest on that anti-dry fire. Now this is the anti-dry fire switch, and you can always tell it's in there because of that won't move. And I'll show you when we're done here, you'll be able to adjust that and move that when the string is where it's supposed to be. So a lot of times we'll get the phone call, what should I do? Or people will come into our store and they'll bring it in and they'll always have not a happy look on their face because they went to shoot something and couldn't shoot. So what should you do when this happens? Well, what you want to do is put the crossbow into the fire position. And again, the string is up on the anti-dry fire, so nothing's going to happen. And what we're going to do is make sure that our crank is on disengage. Again, make sure that we don't have an arrow in there as well. And we're going to go ahead and put our crank back on the string. Got to get underneath that hold down spring. Now we're up on the string. I'm going to flip this into engage. And what I'm going to do is just crank this crossbow back until I see it go from fire to safety. And that's really the best way to cock your crossbow, is keep an eye on that safety. And this is a way to prevent this from ever happening to you, is if you're always watching that safety and you pull it back until it moves from fire to safety, then you always know that your string is in the trigger mechanism. So whenever you're cocking with the AccuDraw, the main thing is make sure it's in fire, and then you just watch that safety. When the safety moves from fire to safety, you know you're in the trigger mechanism where you're supposed to be. So now we're good to go, and I'm going to move this. See how that moves now? When that string is up on the anti-dry fire, that doesn't move. So now we can move it. We're good to go. We put our arrow in here, and we can shoot the crossbow. So a real easy tip for a problem that we see somewhat often. But like I say, if you make sure that when you go to cock that crossbow, it's in fire, and you watch for it to move from fire to safety, that'll never happen to you. For more information, go to CrossbowExpert.com.